Hi guys, welcome back to this channel again. My name is Eliya Ulfa. I major in English Literature at Sultan Agung Islamic University, and today I want to retell again the next chapter. The title is It Takes One to Catch One and Live on Faith. Okay, let's go to It Takes One to Catch One first. Okay, Harry is a good talk. He could have picked a packet without someone noticing. He was stalking his target, Diana. He thought that Diana was a rich person because the clothes that she wore and the stuff that she brought. He pretended to bomb her, and then he would help her to collect the scattered package. And suddenly there was a person who snatched her handbag, and Harry knew who he is, and he intended to help her to catch the thief, and Diana was agreed. Harry accompanied Diana to her car, and she said that the keys were in a stolen bag, so Harry helped to open the car door, and before she drove off, she asked her name's address and a description of her handbag, and then Harry went to Larry's house, the thief who snatched Diana's bag, and then he ransacked Larry's house and found what he looking for. Then he took the bag and opened it, but there was something odd. In the bag there were just a small mobile phone, two credit cards, and then some money, and there were no keys. Ronnie McPhee was well known as an unreliable young man. He took the course as a security guard, and on his first career, he just spent each day watching TV monitor. He satisfied because his work was not hard, and he also paid a regular wage, but he was not really content with his income and became bored with his job, so he would manifest himself in crime. James was a security guard who watched and checked CCTV footage. One day he saw something odd. The CCTV stopped scanning for a while. When he checked it, there was a woman who chatting with a clerk, and she brought a number of bags, and James believed that there must be an alliance between the thief and the CCTV guards. And another day, he was watching Ronnie. He realized that Ronnie talked to someone, and one camera stopped random scanning. When James checked it, there was a woman who he saw on the tape yesterday. Finally, James knew who insider was. Harry went to the address that the woman gave to him, and there was no the woman and the car, so he believed that the woman was a shoplifter, and he had an idea to trap her. But Harry and Larry went to the mall to meet her, but previously he had talked to Sergeant Thompson to help them. Finally, they met Diana. She left after Harry gave her back. When Sergeant Thompson wanted to arrest her, there were Harry, who came with his arresting officer, and James, and he cried to his mom, Diana, and they begged to be safe, but it was too late, and then they were both arrested. And while Harry and Larry, they came home as heroes. Okay, let's move to the next chapter. The title is Leap of Faith. Fiona is a single woman in her 30s. She was sitting around the railings at the rear of the ferry when she saw a man running as the ferry began to leave the pier. He couldn't catch up the ferry and just threw his back at Fiona and said something that Fiona didn't hear, and then Fiona was wondering what she should do with this bag, and she decided to bring this bag over to her house and tried to contact the owner, but unfortunately his cell phone was in the bag, and inside the bag there was the identity of the owner named Tim Freeman. And then when Fiona came out of his stuff, there was hidden place for the combination, and then Fiona tried to remember what he was trying to say. Tim Freeman is a geologist consultant, and he missed the ferry and threw his case at a woman and waited for the next boat. He didn't realize that someone was following him, and until finally he arrived and decided to buy a meal at the bar. The person waited for him, and he didn't know where to go because his phone was in the case, and Tim guessed that these guys wanted his briefcase. After a few months, Tim spent his time working, and he is still followed by the stalker, and he got a message from Fiona. Then immediately he called her to say thank you and asked her to meet him at Deluxe Cafe. And then when Tim went over there, he saw someone who following him again, and then he hurried to Fiona and handed her the case and asked her to go to the police station and hand over the case to Sergeant Brian Phillips. And they survived, but the briefcase was stolen by the stalker, and the most important thing, the paper, Fiona was able to save it. And then they went to have lunch, and Tim would explain what happened. As they continued to be followed, they decided to go to Peninsula, and they were taken by dawn in a helicopter, and they were there with James. And after a few days, it was noticed that someone followed them up to the peninsula, and then they went to the cliff to hide, but the stalkers tried to climb the hill. So Tim handed Fiona with a hammer and James with a gun. And when the situation was under control, James gave Fiona a key and asked her to go to the Land Rover and pick up the radio telephone, then called the police. But the police said that they couldn't pick them before dark. So Fiona went back to the cliff to let James and Tim know. James and Tim managed to defeat the stalkers, and they planned to keep them at the gun emplacement until the police arrived. And there were two people who had to face it, and suddenly James heard someone cursing, and it was sound of a man with a broken leg. So James took him to the Land Rover and treated him, while Fiona was tired and fell asleep in the gun emplacement with Tim. And an hour later, the police came and woke them up. The chaos didn't stop there. As they crossed the bridge to meet James, suddenly the bridge collapsed and it was sabotaged by the stalkers. And then Fiona and Tim held hands and jumped to the ground. And after the fog cleared, they went home by helicopter. And Fiona thanked James and Tim for giving her an experience she would never forget. And then they decided to go to cafe. Okay, that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed and have a good day. Bye.